Yeah, welcome everybody to our monthly energy forecast, the energy talk for November energies. And what we are going to do in this energy talk is to look at these emotional and energetic indicators. Yeah, we're going to look at what someone like me who professionally reads energies, not just for individuals, but also for the collective, sees already in the etheric, which means that these things are already there. They just basically need to materialize. Now, if you go to my website, you'll see that I have these forecasts posted there every month. And since it is the 1st of November, let's have a look at it together right now. So here in the intro, I say the energetic weather conditions in November are showing deep revelations about our individuated sense of self. What I mean with this is that there is, a deeper layer. Many of us have already been doing diligent work with, our shadow, with our inner child, with our trauma. And that's an important type of work, to become able to discern energies. Yeah, what is mine, what isn't, what do I truly want, what do I truly need, what do I not need, or what do I no longer need. These kind of things, they all come from our inner work, and that's always constructive. But there can also be a plateau that you reach with that, where you just simply start looping in your own stuff, and your ego then tends to come up with, narratives such as, oh yeah, that's because of my inner child, or, oh yeah, that's, a trauma response, and so forth. Now, if those words are all lingo to you, then, just see it really as the power of our own minds, deception. We have a way, and this is part of our ego's function. We have a way to adjust to things, that allows us to psychically survive this. And in its lower expression, we call it ego. In its higher expression, we call it the higher self, or even the soul self, if you add the spiritual perspective to this. Now, the spiritual perspective, as you may or may not, recognize, is not necessarily something that has to do with religion, or that has to do with, a specific school of thought. The spiritual perspective is merely the immaterial perspective. So those things in life, let me just name a few: happiness, fulfillment, inner peace, and love. Those things in life that are not truly material of nature, that have to do with an inner perception, that have to do with your subjectivity. And so the ego can sometimes get tricked into, either making something material that is actually immaterial in nature, or making something fantastical that is actually quite fact-based. All right, so these two extremes are the ones that we constantly have to balance. We constantly have to find ways to know which is which, so that we can understand ourselves. And in order to understand the world, especially the kind of world that we are finding, in front of our eyes right now, we need to understand ourselves first. Now, the ego says, oh, everything that is bad and that is evil does not deserve love or peace. But that's just a lower expression of who we are. Once we see ourselves as soul with bodies, and not, being a body with a sort of a soul attachment, but once we recognize that we Yeah, the true nature of our being is actually of spiritual nature, of immaterial nature. Yeah, then we can also conclude that all these elements in life that are coming to expression through what many of us, you know, see as curveballs or struggles or suffering perhaps, that they must, on some level, have a spiritual expression or perhaps even cause. So that was a long-winded sort of bridge here into what our individuated sense of self actually means. It means that due to the immaterial nature of our being, we have to, well, almost like acquire or work for our individuation. We have to kind of recognize the things that bind us, that keep us in some forms of, like, say, maybe dependencies or conformity, or things that keep us in a place where we cannot really think and feel and choose for ourselves. Now, most people aren't aware of this, and this is where the trickiness of the ego comes in. That is self-deception. We all think that, oh yeah, we can do whatever we want. We can choose the job, the relationship, the place that we live in, and all these kind of things. But at the end of the day, we find ourselves in places where we just run in circles. Yeah? And if you have done a little bit of spiritual self-growth, you may have already come across something that we call karma, some kind of almost like a law or some kind of mechanism, that sort of keeps us, in sort of the same range of experiences until we finally learn the lesson or learn the part that was needed for us to reach higher levels of independence, higher levels of peace, higher levels of love, perhaps. And so I want to formulate, this, the purpose of our journey here, that is such a big mystery to many people, as something very simple, namely, more or less, earning our evolution. So we all have the potential, but it doesn't come to us through this, let's say, hive mind, or through the spoon feeding of the collective. It is something that needs to be activated, that needs to awaken in us as first an impulse, then a desire, like many of you feel this sort of desire to spiritually connect with something, and then true dedication. The dedication to wanting to become it, wanting to become like your higher self. And anyone, and I think this is all of you here, who is striving, for becoming an authentic self, a true self, or even a higher self, knows how difficult this can be. And so each time we, quote unquote, learn our karmic lesson, we have to kind of do a little bit of a graduation. It's these tests that come out. Did you really learn this? Are you sure that this lady that you're falling in love with this time around is not just a variation of the old theme, or the kind of job or the kind of decision that you make around, where you want to live or how you want to live? Are you sure? Okay. So all that here, just sort of part of the intro, will trigger a bunch of stuff in you here in November, because it's not going to be less intense as I have predicted in September already, these last 3 months, October, November, December of 2023, will continue to escalate into what we then call sort of a massive collective awakening and therefore also collective healing, to the middle of December. But here on November the 1st, we look at November energies and well, we don't know that yet, but I can already see that at first glance, feel that November is continuing to be chaotic, okay, and very overwhelming. Now, whenever we go into overwhelm, guys, all right, our ego takes over. That's the job that our ego has. And why is that? Because it has all these habits and all these rituals and all these constructs, and it goes back to sort of comfort, okay, to all the things that can get you through. And guess where your ego learned that? It learned that in the past. So for anyone who is aligned to growth, you cannot ask your ego. Your ego is not the tool that allows you to grow. On the contrary, your ego's job is to keep everything the same or to just do whatever feels the most familiar. That's how we end up in these, loops and this sort of running in circles type of situation. So overwhelm triggers the ego. And amidst your personal transformative journey, you are now presented with soul testing challenges that will aim, and this is important, to help you, to support you, to refine and activate your true soul power, that immaterial part of you, that part in you that is not spoon-fed by the collective, whatever goes on in the media or what is happening over there or what the neighbors think or whether or not your family approves of it, but what is actually, transmitted to you, as part of a greater reality, a sort of cosmic reality. And this is why I call it the cosmic self-empowerment, because there are quite a few differences. Last month we tuned into cosmic intelligence, and this month you will see that this is referring much more to the internal part of this cosmic force working through you. Last month was more like, what is coming in as an impulse from the outside. This month, it's all about us actually tuning into it and beginning to embody it. All right? So when we look at all these transformative, collective, and personal energies in November, what we will see in us, and this will be quite interesting for each of you individually, that there's some kind of really drastic shift all of the sudden, like an activation of inner strength. So you'll feel much more physical activity. You'll feel much more life force. And as energy reader and someone who teaches energy healers how to read energies, and this may, not be something that you can see, all right, or that that you can tune in yet, but life force is actually carried in your etheric body, and that can be affected by outer things, by things such as what the neighbors think or what the collective thinks or what is in fashion at a certain time or what the mass media are hammering into our minds. It can be affected by that. So when you watch news and when you watch these videos, especially the visuals of things, always understand that these visuals that you are transmitted that are transmitted to yourself. You have to metabolize them in the etheric. And that takes up quite a bit of energy, which means it lowers your life force. Yeah, the energy balance, yeah, what you have available for yourself to, let's say, express yourself, to be creative, or to love, or to simply manifest what you truly want in life. Now, on the other hand, and this plays into our energy balance as well, we have all these repressed things, yeah, these repressed emotions, some of which, most of which, we're probably not even aware of, that are all being processed in the background, especially if it's negative feelings. And negative feelings can, they can come from past experiences, trauma, but they can also come from a fear of the future. And do not underestimate, yeah, the energy drainage that you experienced through unprocessed emotions, especially, and this will be significant here in November, the kind that have to do with you not expressing your truth, you not stepping into your own authentic self. That's why these revelations about your sense of self, yeah, why they are so tricky this month. Yeah, so this month, yeah, calls upon us to activate our inner strength and align our will with authentic feelings and clear thinking. Clear thinking comes from you being able to discern your own thoughts from those thoughts that are coming in from the outside. Yeah, and the same with your emotions, to be able to tell, like if you just absorbed a bunch of stuff from the person that you just talked to, or the workplace that you were at, or the news, or sometimes even the movies and the songs that you have been listening to. They illuminate your path and bring you closer to your true self, your authentic feelings and your clear thoughts. And we summarize this process as, the journey to your heart mind, where you conjoin, your clear thoughts, your, thoughts that come, that you basically thought yourself due to the power of consciousness acting in you, and the true feelings that come from the bottom of your heart and sometimes even from your soul. When you bring this together, when you become a conscious soul self, yeah, that has a fully sort of integrated heart mind, yeah, then you will feel empowered. You will feel supported. Yeah. So when we have a look at these energies that are coming our way here in these next 4 to 6 weeks, yeah, you'll at first feel that this is really overwhelming and that you don't know what to do. But, these tests that you are receiving right now, they are basically your soul exams. Yeah. They help you to increase your own capacity to not only manage your own life force, which you need for manifestation, but also to decide to choose more consciously what you want to feed. Yeah, whether it's, you being part of an institution or a corporation, or some kind of discussion group, or a fan of something, yeah, like an artist, going to concerts, or buying products of certain companies. Yeah, all these things, wherever you give your energy, be it in form of money, in form of love, in form of time, you are feeding that. And that is, basically the test right now. Are you aware of what it is that you are feeding, with where your attention goes, with what you direct your energy to? And the same internally. Are you aware of these things that you are unconsciously feeding through, let's say, your negative inner self-talk? Through, telling yourself that, you messed up and you don't deserve anything and you're not good enough. What are you feeding in you? Yeah. So this activation makes you become more aware of it. And yes, your ego is not gonna like it. Okay. Just be okay with the fact that your ego is resisting that, which means that you have to fully and consciously choose to wanting to grow. Yeah. So these tests serve as opportunities for growth, enabling us to embrace our humanity in its purest form. Yeah? Which also means having compassion and forgiveness for yourself and others. And embody the essence of compassion, authenticity, and interconnectedness. Inner and outer resistance is therefore an integral part of this spiritual soul growing process. Yeah? And so we must remind ourselves to be patient and focus on areas in our life that we can control, yeah? Or that bring us hope, that bring us love, that bring us joy, that bring us creativity. So as we embark on this journey together, yeah, we are guided to liberate ourselves from the barriers of the past, yeah, in form of our struggles, our traumas, our inner child, fostering a sense of empowerment and renewal. Basically what this means is the following. I am me now. This is who I am now. And yes, I know I have messed up in the past and I have experienced a lot of stuff that was quite difficult, that made it hard for me to get here. But now I'm here. And guess what? All places are here. All times are now. You have the right to declare right now a new beginning. You have the right to do this at any time and to say, you know what? With the insight and with the understanding that I have today, I now see something that I couldn't see before. And therefore, I give myself the compassion and forgiveness that is needed to let go of the attachments to the past. And this will come to us through cosmic forces this month, yeah, and therefore affect our deepest inner being, is core. Yeah, November is core. It can also trigger core fears, core, and this is something that I've already seen here with working with some of you, because every month we do this energetic tune-up where I get to, help you out, clear your energy, and do a reading for the month. I could see this already, what is happening here for most of us, and that is that core guilt and core shame. Those are very, very low vibratory energies. Yeah, if you look at the map of consciousness from Hawkins, you'll see they are like below 100. This is very, very hefty, okay, how this comes to us. And the only way to overcome those core aspects, guys, is to go deeper into our soul, deeper into our heart. You cannot resolve those core issues with your mind or with your repressed emotions. So what is coming in here, yeah, and some of you might recognize this, is hope, faith, and charity. Charity in the sense of true forgiveness, true sacrifice, true selflessness. Not in the sense of hurting yourself, giving up something, losing something. No. Recognizing that these things that you are willing to let go of, that is your sacrifice, that they are actually helping to provide, okay, more love, more creativity, more truth, and more goodness in this world. And in that, hope, faith, don't just help you to overcome the fears of the future, but also others. So this will all happen on the level of our subconscious. The way in which transformation will proceed here will appear as if above your pay grade. Yeah, so this is coming in as a truly spiritual impulse, guys. This is not something that you will, unless you have trained spiritual vision, that you will be able to pinpoint and say, oh yeah, there is, you know, the second coming, or there is the leader, you know, who is, you know, getting this all in order. That is not how this is going to go. Although there is something to the second coming for those of you with etheric vision, that I will address in our study group. This activation of spiritual remembrance and empowerment will come for everyone who seeks answers beyond the fallibility of their brain and their limitations of cognition. So you have to be willing to relinquish your attachment to your ego mind. You have to literally convince yourself that these issues that we're dealing with here are higher than what your mind and your brain can process. That is the case, guys. That is the truth. And therefore, to use your rationality to resolve or find solutions for these problems, such as, the beginning of World War III and Earth, dying, and, humans becoming extinct, all these things that are floating around, including aliens in our mass media. Okay, you cannot resolve those with your brain. You get me? Yeah, I'm not mystifying anything. I'm just being very, very pragmatic here. Those are things above your pay grade. And this is where the power of consciousness comes in, the power of clear thinking. Clear thinking is basically a spiritual thinking that is not irrational, but more holistic and more sort of synergistic and cybernetic kind of thinking that includes the interconnectedness of everything. The physical, the emotional, the mental, the social, the spiritual, the etheric, and the soul level of things. We're a little far away from this, nicely said, as a collective, but as individuals, we are already getting this impulse now. So those of you who seek this wisdom will find it. Your diligent search for answers and questioning of narratives, not just the media narrative, also your own narratives, guys. Remember, your ego's power is self-deception, okay? But questioning that will enable you to see straight through the fog of illusion and provide you with the inner and outer support you need to reach higher and become more than you believe to be able to be. That's why you can't use your ego, because it's beyond what the ego can imagine. And there is some cosmic support coming in. That's why I'm referring to the cosmic soul self. And the energy alignment this month is called activation. And there's this beautiful picture of an eagle flying against the sun. Those are all extremely carefully picked symbolisms that I use in my energy alignments, which are, by the way, for free. You can go to my SoundCloud, and there you'll see. Let me do this here for you. I don't know if I can show this to you. There's over 231 free MP3s on my SoundCloud, okay, that will all help you to tune into a different kind of alignment. So For November, the alignment is activation. Yeah, you can listen to it on SoundCloud or on my website. And with this eagle and the sun, okay, a very, very deep esoteric concept is being expressed that I will continue to explain to you guys as we go. Those of you who were at the energetic tune-up have already received this, extra information about this. I don't have enough time to do this here in this forecast recording. So due to the nature of these incoming energies, I was trying to prepare you, for this profoundly spiritual and mystical month. Yeah, these entire year-end energies here in the Northern Hemisphere. Yeah, they are very mystical and very spiritual. It's a little different in the Southern Hemisphere, guys. But the activation that I was talking about, the increase in life force, the increase in etheric power is the same. Yeah. And why did I choose the power and symbolism of the eagle? Because it allows us to fly higher, to fly into regions where we can take on a higher perspective. And here is a quote. The eagle is the chief of all winged creatures. Eagle conveys the powers and messages of the spirit. It's a spirit messenger, just not from the angelic realm, but from the elemental realm. Yeah, there's many different hierarchies in the spiritual realm. It is man's connection to the divine because it flies higher than any other bird. The eagle brings the message of renewed life because it is associated with the east winds, the direction of spring, dawn, and rebirth. So for you guys in the Southern Hemisphere, you have a direct link to the eagle energies if you just go outside. Because your nature is in that kind of physical renewal. Those of you here in the Northern Hemisphere, for you the renewal is taking place from inside out. It's the spiritual renewal. Yeah, material, physical, Southern Hemisphere. Spiritual, inner renewal in the Northern Hemisphere. If an individual has been going through a hard time, the eagle not only signals a new beginning, but provides the person with the stamina, and this is the strength that I see here coming in November, and resilience to endure the difficulties, these soul tests. So what is the lesson of the eagle? When the eagle appears for you in your inner mind's eye, in your vision, or if you're lucky and you live in areas where there's lots of eagles, like we do, it means that you are being put on notice. That's the activation. An impulse is coming in. Eagle totems appear to inspire you to reach higher and become more than you think you're capable of. They tell you to be courageous and really stretch your limits and see what you can do. This is where you have to let go of your ego, because the ego can't get you there, guys. They bring a new sense of courage and desire to explore and grow. This is why November is actually a really, really powerful month for manifestation. To dream of a flying eagle or one who is perched high signifies good fortune and victory coming your way. If it scares you or attacks you, it means there are some self-imposed limitations you need to push through. And some of you are already feeling this because there is sort of an autoimmune problem going around here in our collective, not just on the physical level. Those are things that I have been reporting about throughout the entire pandemic. I'm not going to go there again. You can go to my forum, and there you will find lots of posts about autoimmune dysfunctions, vaccine induced or not. The lesson of the ego is to take a look from where it sees, to take a look from where it sees. This is the impulse to become more aware of the energetic state that you are in, because that determines your manifestation powers. Most of you are still aligned to what you don't want or what you no longer want. All you can think of is inner peace and no more struggle. Can you feel this? This is not a good goal because it aligns you to the past. Yeah, so if you see where you see from, yeah, and realize that you're looking into the rear mirror, okay, then you need to change that right away. You must have the courage to relinquish the state and, you know, the comfort zone, yeah, the habits and beliefs, to soar into unknown realms and new realities, continually expanding your view. So if you find yourself stuck, ask for the ego power. When your day-to-day life is too overwhelming for you, yeah, when you think you are not able to do this, or when you have lost sight of the larger perspective, it will help you if you know, like we do this here in the Sacred Self Healing community for free on Skype, yeah, or in the Sacred Self Healing community that we do, you know, where we do workshops and so forth for members. To just have people to talk to to talk about these things, to exchange, you know, your authentic views, yeah, to feel that you are safe, you know, expressing your true feelings, your true opinions. Yeah? This is very, very liberating. But you can also listen to this MP3 because I have coded in, yeah, these impulses into this month's energy alignment. You can call on the ego when you are faced with a number of tough choices, let's say regarding work, relationships, or any kind of life transitions. Yeah, call ego power in to help you see things from a bigger perspective so that you can see, you know, what truly needs to be done. Perhaps also what you need to prioritize in order to get things done. You know, a lot of you get overwhelmed and then don't know where to start. When you're not sure how to integrate certain things, yeah, your spiritual insights, when you like understand things intellectually, but somehow you find yourself constantly in the same place where you know, sort of still act judgmental, or, you know, where you bash yourself, or, you know, where you just don't seem to be able to muster the discipline it takes, you know, perhaps to meditate daily or to pray, you know, when you have a hard time integrating, becoming it, yeah, because that's a whole different process. It's one thing to intellectually understand concepts or aspects of spirituality with a whole different level of feeling it. That's why the heart mind, you know, is something that we all need to learn. There's techniques, there's ways to tune into this. And then ultimately the spiritual initiation process. Yeah, as I do this here every week on Saturdays with the Soul Initiation Training Club. Or if you feel, you know, just worn out, exhausted, that you're expending too much on the wrong things. So to tune into ego power and optimally metabolize those powerful activation energies, visit an area perhaps that can physically elevate you. Yeah, go on top of a mountain. Or if you live in a large city, maybe go to the tallest building in the city. Yeah. And take in as much as you can. Now, if you are used to spiritual visioning, yeah, perhaps, you know, go out into a remote place and take a bunch of blankets with, make a fire, maybe gather one or two good friends that are willing to, you know, do like a vision quest with you for a couple of hours and stare into the flames or stare into the snow or stare into the sky, into the clouds. Yeah, and allow yourself to fade in to these elemental powers, because they provide you with the remembrance, yeah, of these core powers in us. Take deep breaths, do the I am breathing that I demonstrated last week. It's a video that I will link in with this forecast. The support you need will arrive when you make your conscious choice. All right, and here you see my analysis. This is based on Hawkins's calibrated levels of consciousness. There is more to say about this, and I'll probably post a second video where I go more into those spiritual aspects here. I have already recorded that with the tune-up. Yeah, so here's just the markers for that, these energies that we have to contend with. Then in the energy calendar for November, which is not up yet, that will happen tonight, you will see important dates and days that I have picked out. There are some important aspects of these collective developments here, because they will be quite challenging, as we can observe with this collective blindness and apathy, yeah, that has taken hold of large parts of the world population right now. It will lead to an even more extreme separation between humans, and thus likely more unrest, guys. We're looking at a time, especially around the middle of the month, of explosive events. Yeah. And therefore, November will not only bring in higher spiritual vision to humanity, but also lead to the collapse of existing structures, existing power structures, and their leadership. This will be more significant as we, move through the cycles in November, due to the incoming higher frequencies. Yeah, not just, in the etheric, but also in the physical, the actual Earth's frequency. Many will experience that, there is some kind of spiritual indigestion in them. They cannot fully metabolize these spiritual energies. That's why I called them above your pay grade. Whenever you feel this way, yeah, that is just too much, or that you're unable to function, okay, then maybe listen to the energy alignment, because this will help you with the help of elemental spirits, yeah, to ground this a little bit, okay? We also have to prevent ourselves from going into the fantastical, and also especially the apocalyptical. Those are all dark forces working through your etheric, guys. Yeah, when you get pulled into these detrimental kind of doom and gloom thought structures, and likewise when you get pulled into these absolute sort of desperate and apathetic kind of emotions. Okay, so we have to learn, yeah, to use our higher perspectives wisely. Otherwise, you see these like truly animalistic outcroppings of, religious extremist groups, yeah, on all sides, yeah, because there is something that I have been warning about for quite a few months and years now, and that is the formation of new religious cults. Yeah, so right now we're seeing just the beginning of this. Those are still the old religious groups. Yeah, the old sort of unprocessed stuff between what Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Okay, we have to use our higher perspectives, guys. Yeah, only then can you discern what is good and what is evil, what is true and what is false. So, yeah, more cognitive dissonances, guys, more stuff to work through. Okay, and you can read the rest of the energy forecast here on my website. The ways our chakras are going to be affected, you'll see this here on the slide. The core spiritual guilt that I mentioned already, also accompanied through shame a lot of times, is counteracted by a whole new sort of cosmic understanding of evolution, which, by the way, also includes the planet Gaia. So here, to end the forecast, the observed themes for November in a nutshell: the activation of will, and something that is really based on true feeling and clear thinking, our heart mind, okay? And with it, a new dedication. Also, coming in for us is the empowerment through liberations from the barriers of the past. That's all the ego consciousness work that I always hint at. And on a spiritual level, this activation triggers, the above the pay grade stuff, a subconscious remembrance of the true divine nature in you and what it actually means to be human, the power and the responsibility that comes with this. Now, the mystery of the ego and cosmic ascension into higher spiritual realms, which again also includes the planet. The planet is a conscious being as well on an ascension journey. Never forget that. And the overall transformation of awareness for all who seek to embody the purest form of humanness. There's some beautiful, beautiful codes in this energy alignment here in the M23. And soul testing, to refine and activate your true soul power. Guys, there is so much more in this month, that I could talk for hours and hours. In our energetic tune-up, I have already talked about this for 3 hours, so I don't want to bore you again with this, but I want to give you just real quick one last overview here of the dates. The dates in November. And by the way, if you listen to the cosmic intelligence first and the activation alignment second, you will notice that it is the part 2 to cosmic intelligence. And I'm suspecting, I haven't worked on the December alignment yet, that December is going to be part 3. So they are all connected with one another. All right, and here, a brief overview over important dates. Many of you like this when I make these references. That's really from astronomy and astrology. When I make those references to time capsules, to like where we have to sort of bring something into closure that came up earlier in our life. So 2014, 9 years ago, there was a process that started in you. I gave birth to my beautiful son in 2014. That needs to be fully internalized now. In other words, that needs to really manifest itself in the way that you intended it. And if you got distracted on the way, if you went on sidelines or forgot about it, is now the time, guys, especially these next 2 weeks, these first 2 weeks in November, to contemplate about this. And what came forward for you in 2014 that you had as sort of an impulse there, new beginning. So here the first couple of days, there's a beautiful sort of harmonizing energy possible for us. It's always, of course, also a duality that comes with it. So who likes to be reminded of truth, right? So those of you who are working on their consciousness, you will find this empowering. Other people might find that shocking. Okay. But what you will find, and this is something that we're currently working on here with the Grace Manifestation Marathon, the monthly 3-day intensive that I do. By the way, you should check on this. This is like an extremely powerful inner work. every month. There's like 20, 25 sessions that we do every month here. This is the training club. Yeah? So 30 days unlimited access to all these sessions, these energy sessions and workshops. Extremely powerful. I'm thinking about doing a little special for you guys in November since it's Thanksgiving month. Yeah, to make this perhaps more affordable to those of you who are not able to muster that kind of financial energy yet. In around the 7th of November, when we have the first sort of new moon energy setting in, yeah, we all know that this is something that sets or sort of prepares a new beginning. I would strongly recommend that you call in on your spirit guides. This doesn't have to be the ego, but I found it particularly conducive this month to work with elemental energies, yeah, to change your perspective. You can work with whatever these spirit guides are for you, but I also want to remind you that when you work with these projections, okay, that you want something to be in a certain way which comes from your ego, yeah, that what you're seeing is often skewed. And dark forces are the masters of deception and trickery, and they often come in form of your spirit guides. Did you know that? Yeah. So just pointing at something that I am training here, yeah, how to discern, spiritual entities and what to do. The next energy course, as it's called, 6-week training, starts on December 2nd. Then around, like proceeding, from the new moon, we'll see collective outrage. And this is then when we have to pay attention, guys. There's lots of emotional triggers. There's shame and guilt, core stuff that is coming in collectively. So everything I shared with you was more or less, how it works internally. But now think what it does to the collective and to some of these areas where there's already a lot of stuff going on. And that's when we really have to tune into, well, I want to call it our Christ consciousness, yeah, the grace of hope and faith and charity, to charity. Yeah, not just donating a little money to something, no. To really becoming that being that is able to see things from a higher perspective and to let go of all this emotionalization and mentalization, especially of all this materialization. So then we look, at this, the height of the full moon. So everything else, from the 7th on was leading up to this, guys. And now we're going to have to watch it, okay, to not get destructive ourselves. This is going to be very powerful because with these life force energies that are increasing with you, you also want to go out and want to do revenge and all these kind of things. Yeah, that's not really conducive. What's conducive is actually to tune into, what can bring more good, more beauty, more creativeness, and more love into this world. Yeah, that's constructive. And then we're going to see something that I'm going to probably talk about in another energy talk around this time, yeah, toward the end of the month. We're going to have to deal with, something that I call here the activation of war against all. Yeah, like everybody against everybody. This is in our collective, guys. And this is going to be going on for the next 14 years. It's the next time capsule. Not that there is going to be war for the next 14 years for all of us. That's not what that means. Yeah, everybody against everybody means an alignment issue. Yeah, and this has to do with this bifurcation that I always talk about. Because when you have two different kinds of people or two different, schools of thought and alignments, these two different types of people are going to start experiencing a different reality. Yeah, and that is then what this sort of everybody against everybody, or maybe 50-50, here in the United States, there is the election year next year. Yeah, in election years, you can see this very beautifully, how suddenly the world just looks like, my team or your team. And if you're not on my team, then you must be against me. That is what I mean with everybody against everybody. Yeah. Lots of exaggerations, and things will be blown out of proportion to at the end of the month. There is lots of overlay in the etheric. Yeah, so as much as this activation brings in the potential for higher levels of life force, it also brings in the potential for more protest, unrest, and fighting. Yeah, because that's the lower expression of that force. The higher expression is knowing how to discern good from evil, light from dark, truth from falsehood. So my overall energy tip, there's more in the forecast, but my overall energy tip for all of you is renewed dedication to your journey and focus on, and you might laugh when I say this, but focus on one good deed every day, at least for the next 6 weeks. Because some of the hefty stuff, guys, this is going on till December 13th. One good deed a day. But don't fool yourself. A good deed. Not one that brings your ego payoff, that makes you look good in the eyes of others. No. A good deed can be anything from letting go of something that you're addicted to, that you're attached to. Or just being present for someone without judgment. Yeah, just being present. But it can also be, picking up the phone and calling a friend and asking them if they need help. Or better yet, what can I do to help you? Yeah? Random acts of kindness, true selflessness, true charity. Okay? If you can commit to this, guys, and I would love to hear your sharings here in our ongoing Sacred Self-Healing community, yeah? To committing one conscious good deed a day and share it here with us. You have no idea what that is going to contribute to bringing more love, bringing more good and more creativeness into this world. So let's do this, guys. Let's share our one good deed every day here in our Sacred Self-Healing Skype thread, Daily Sacred Self thread. We also have a Course in Miracles study group. It's on my website. It's on in all the YouTube video descriptions. And of course, you can always book personal sessions with me. Yeah, you can always participate in the Energy Training Club or sign up for individual energy sessions. Yeah, all that is laid out on my website. And if you find this too difficult and don't know where to start, just book an initial free energy coaching session with me and we can talk through this. So I'm wishing you a lot of dedication, a lot of good deeds, and a lot of, renewed light force energy for November. I see you very soon. I love you guys. Stay conscious.